Hi, I'm Karyn from Pelion Branch Library, and today I wanted to talk to you and introduce you to some cookbooks. Now, we have a lot of cookbooks in our system, but the ones I want to talk about today are those that draw their inspiration from fiction, or as I like to say, cooking the books. So, these cookbooks all have taken their inspiration from movies, from cartoons, TV shows, all kinds of things. And I don't know about you, but when I read, I get really into it, and I want to continue the experience after I finish with the book. I remember reading Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events and really wanting to make pasta puttanesca. And it was really good, but I had never heard of the recipe before I read that book. Another thing, as a Harry Potter fan, I really wanted to taste butterbeer, and so I've made my own since then, and it's really good. That being said, these cookbooks are just a few of the cookbooks we have that do take their inspiration from fiction. And as you can see, I even made something from one of them, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The first cookbook I wanted to talk to you about is the Geeks cookbook, all right? And this one takes its inspiration from Pokémon, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and a lot more. And one of the recipes that I found in here was from The Big Bang Theory, and this is pad thai between friends. So this week I made pad thai between friends. And whenever I do cook from a cookbook, I never follow the recipe exactly. Somebody told me once that cooking is an art, baking is a science. So with art, you're allowed to make little changes here and there. So I added way more vegetables than the recipe called for. I also did not use the shrimp that the recipe called for. So, but it was a very tasty, fun recipe to make. So I urge you to try that. And the next cookbook that I wanted to talk about is this one, The Feast of Fiction. And this has inspiration from cartoons like The Last Airbender. It has movies and TV shows, a little bit of everything. So, but the recipe that I chose to make out of here is Pita's bread from Hunger Games. Alright, so whenever, again, as I said, baking is a science. You're not supposed to change the recipe. But, again, in keeping with the theme of Hunger Games, I did want to use raisins because I didn't have raisins and my family doesn't like raisins. So I decided to use apples because I had apples. And I knew that science-wise it was going to add more liquid to the bread, maybe making it a little bit denser. But overall, I was really happy with the rise. I was really happy with how this turned out. It actually made 2 of these kind of rustic loaves of bread. And you know, I just substituted the raisins for the apples, and this little treat I made, and it was a really fun thing to do. So this is a fun way of exploring your cooking repertoire and maybe making it a little bit bigger, trying some things that you don't normally try. So then the last cookbook I'm going to talk about today is Eat What You Watch. All right, and now if you've ever watched the YouTube channel Binging with Babish, this is that person. This is his cookbook, and it's written the same way the show is, and it's a lot of fun. The recipes tend to be a little bit gourmet. This recipe in here, though, the asparagus with hollandaise, this is on my list to try because I have not tried the hollandaise sauce that I can recall. So yeah, if you're feeling a little bit more adventurous and want to try something exciting, I really think this might be a good cookbook to check out. As for me, you know, a good cookbook has to have pictures. All of these cookbooks have really nice pictures and clear instructions on what you're supposed to do. So, I hope that you feel inspired to try something a little bit new and different. So, happy cooking!